Hello! In today's video I'm gonna list my top 5 free modifications or mods for the SCX24. I think the mods we're gonna look at today is quite easy to pull off. You don't have to solder anything, you don't have to cut anything, but you get some performance gains and also some aesthetics gains. The first that I'm gonna talk about is the removal of the back shock location. From the factory you have the shock straight up and down. I have moved the upper shock location forward. You only have to remove these 2 screws, because from the factory the shock location is here, straight up and down. And then you just take out the 2 screws and slide the shock location forward and then screw it back. This at least holds its truth on the deadbolt, since I have that one. Perhaps the C channels is a little bit different on the variations of the SCX24. And this makes that shock is a little bit softer and you get a little bit more articulation out of it. And then we have the electronics. I have moved the battery and the receiver around. From the factory you have the battery located here on the chassis and the receiver up front. But since the battery is heavier than the receiver, it is beneficial to switch them around. And also, even if it's minuscule, the receiver mount is lower than the original battery mount, so you get the weight a little bit more down than from the factory. So the only thing you have to do really is to remove the receiver from the front. It has the sticky tape on it, so you have to remove that and then take some new sticky tape and tape the receiver to the front of the battery tray. And then you take the Velcro that is located here from the factory and just put it around the receiver mount, so you can slide in the battery like so. And then you just center it when you're gonna run the truck. And then the battery lead can just go into the receiver here. And the battery cable can just route through the battery tray, just to get it out of the way and not gonna be hung up on the drive shaft or any of the links. When you have moved the electronics, from the beginning you have, and all the weights is without the body and without the wheel, so it's only the chassis weights that I have weighed on the scales. So the original placement with the battery at the back and the receiver at the front, you have a 59.3% weight on the front and the 40.7 on the back. And when we do the switch, like it is now on the video, you get a CG that is 62.2% on the front and 37.7% on the rear. So a 3% difference just when we switch the electronics. That is quite huge. No more money put into the car, just switch the electronics and you get a 3% gain. That's good. And then it depends on what kind of body you have, because this Lexan body has quite low weight. But if you have a hard body Bronco, then the CG is gonna be skewed more than it gets with this one. And if I install this body, I got 54.6% CG at the front. So the biggest difference here is the roll cage, I think, that it makes the CG move back from the raw weight of the chassis without the wheels and without the body. But then you install the body and you have more weight at the back of the body. But like I said, 3% gain is good with no more money put into the car. Then you have that the factory mount for the lights cannot be used anymore since the leads is too short. But then I figure out that if you still want to incorporate them on the truck, which I wanted to do, then I took a drill and I drilled into the fake reservoir on the shocks. And then I just routed the light into the reservoir. So then you have a rock light for free, which I think is it's quite cool to have the light on the axle. And one thing that is beneficial when you mount the light here is that you don't have to tinker around with the leads when you're hinging the body up, because I've seen some rock lights that people do when they perhaps tape the lights to the body, but then every time when you're gonna hinge up the body you have to fiddle around and take out the lead so you can hinge the body. But here you have the leads routed underneath the new battery tray and just up to the receiver. So I think this is a cool free mod. And then one thing you can do, because the deadbolt is quite good on the CG forward and back, but you have other variances like the JLU and hard body Bronco and so on. When the CG is perhaps more skewed to the rear, then one mod you can do is to put more weight on the servo here. Just put nickel or some lead weights or something else that weighs a few grams. Then you have a mod that's perhaps not free, but it costs you a few pennies to do it. And one other thing is perhaps you could do some lead wire or some soldering wire, and you can put it on the axle here. Just don't wrap it around so you get a bump here, but you can put some weight on top of the axle to get the CG more correctly, because the most optimal CG is 60% on the front and 40% on the rear. And the final free mod is the removal of the front bumper. Since you no longer uses the original or the factory mounting locations for the lights, you can remove the front bumper from the car. As you see, the first thing that hitting the obstacle that we are gonna try to get over is the front bumper, and the tires aren't even touching yet. Then you just take the 2 screws, one on each side, and just unscrew them. And then you can just spread the C channel a bit. And just like that, you now have increased and improved the departure angle of the car, or the ability to climb over more vertical rocks. Because as you see now, the tires are hitting the obstacle, but the C channels aren't. And even if we put down the body goes free, but the tires touch. So this is a good mod if you want to increase the climbing ability and the ability to start the aperture up on the rocks. Yeah, so that's it. 5 things, just to wrap it up. 5 free mods that is non-destructive to the car. You can always revert it, because not everyone is keen on to cut things up, like the battery tray, cut the C channels, and do things that makes the car unrevertible. So the first thing was the shock location. Just move that forward to get a little bit more articulation. And then we move the electronics. This is also an easy mod that everyone can do. Just some double-sided tape or some Velcro or something that will secure the receiver on the new location. And then you just move the Velcro that is included in the car from the factory, so you can securely fit the battery more up front on the car to get the CG in a better way. Then we had the rock lights. Since the lead to the lights aren't long enough, we removed the lights from the front bumper and drilled a hole through the fake reservoir and just stick the lights into that, so you get a free rock light that shine down to the rock below and also on the links and on the tires. So that makes it a cool effect. And then we had the weight on the front axle. You could put some weight straight on the servo here, or put some weights on the front axle to tune in the CG of the car, to get the CG to the percentage you want. If you want it 60-40, 55-45 or whatever, you can fine-tune the CG of the car that way. And then the final thing was to remove the front bumper. And this is also a non-destructive way to improve the climbing capabilities of the car. Yeah, so that is my 5 free mods that I think makes the car handle a bit better. And the biggest performance gains is the switch of the electronics. And then if you want to, you could put some weight up front. Please leave a comment on what mods you think is the best for the SCX24 family. What mods have you done to your SCX24, and what do you think I could do to make this one even better? I really like the SCX24 Deadbolt. This one is a quite good performer, I think, in the family. When I bought it, I perhaps didn't think it was too good, but it's growing on me. I will do some modifications to it to enhance it even more, but I think, like I said, these 5 things could do the car justice in the way that you don't have to spend $100, $300, $500 on upgrades to make it the perfect one. You can have a good car with not so many dollars into it. If you want to spend some money on the car, buy some good tires and wheels or rims. This is a quite cheap set from Injora. It's their module wheel and some Sont claws, and the weight on this wheel is a lot heavier than the weight of the stock wheel. So if you want to spend some money, this is gonna be your first upgrade. Easy. Don't spend it on a brushless system or anything expensive. Just buy some wheels and some tires to widen the truck, make it a little bit more heavy on the low end of the car, to get the CG planted, and to get the car to be more stable on the rocks when you transition from right and left and up and down. So easily, if you want to spend some money, buy some wheels and tires. That will do the biggest difference. And with that, if you have liked this video, please like, subscribe and leave a comment, as I said. I really want to hear your opinion on what you have done and what you think is the best for this family of cars. And with that, see you in the next one. Bye!